Guru Brando. And who are you?
Lady Elizabeth Autumn McReynolds Groves.
And you're the co-host and my wife.
Yes.
You know what else you are? You're a trans woman. For real.
Cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, and I'm a trans man. And so we have this family, and we have 4 kids, and my dad, Pops, Fred, right? So we all live in this house in Illinois,
Yes.
the Midwest, and we're from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mostly.
we're a kind of diverse, interesting group of people, yeah? Would you say?
I would say that, yes.
Okay, so we're a transplant. We're transplants. And so we get looked at side-eyed because we talk funny. Okay, maybe that's just me. Okay. All right, whatever. We're a transplant. Oh, I got to turn the thing down. Look, see? It just came on. Okay, so I talk funny. I like to believe that it's Southern charm. Some people say it is, but let's just be honest.
We can call it Southern charm. That's perfectly fine.
It's because I can't talk right, but that's okay. Yeah, we'll pretend. You know, it makes me feel good. Helps me sleep at night.
You have to turn on the text.
Oh, yeah. We have comments, right, that we can see. Okay, sometimes we can. So y'all comment. You know, y'all talk to us so we can address content. So I have so many things that I want to say and talk about. The very first one is happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Karen. Happy birthday to you. Right? That's the first one.
Happy birthday.
My BFF, Joe, his wife, my other BFF, Karen, it's her birthday today. And I'm not going to divulge how old she is because why would I do that? That is like,
right?
Yeah, that's like I could get killed and shit. So I'm not going to do that. But I wanted to give a shout out to her because she works super hard and she puts up with Joe. Like, holy crap, that's amazing. It's like you putting up with me, except worse because Joe's older than me. So he's worse. I feel like a movie star with like a stole on or something. I love scarves because I'm cold. Hollywood. Oh, let's get down to business. That's yeah. So that's what the whole thing is. That song is haunting us, isn't it? Yeah, it's haunting us. So it's one of those things that whenever the song gets in your head and it won't leave, and then it just shows up everywhere.
Yeah, it just like keeps coming on.
Constantly. All the time. And at the worst possible times sometimes, because, you just don't want to hear it in that moment. Not real pertinent. All right, so that was one thing that I wanted to talk about was Karen's birthday. Another thing is, check this shit. Yeah, see this right here? This is because I'm special. Me. I'm special. Not you, but me. Do you know why I'm special? Look, you're waiting for comments. You're waiting for somebody to comment. You just looked up. You're like, oh.
Here it comes.
Okay. So do you know why I'm special?
Why are you special?
Oh my gosh, you can't even guess. You're not even going to try.
Well, there's many reasons why you're
Tell
special.
me why I'm special.
What you got going on there?
That's breaking news. So tell me why I'm special.
Because you are the father of my children, mother of my children, sort of. So
yeah, gestational father.
Kind of,
gestational father.
And you stuck with me all this 19 years.
But you didn't give me this bracelet.
No. So,
do you know why this bracelet says I'm special?
Because you're a pretty awesome life coach from what I hear.
I am. So this is you're a pretty awesome life coach bracelet. And it is from one of my clients. And I said that I don't always say names, but I don't really care because she deserves a shout out. Bree, what? How did you even know unless I told you? Hopefully I didn't tell you and you just knew that this color green is like my favorite. I absolutely love it. And maybe you just knew because I smoke weed and that's green. But either way, I think that it's great and I love it. And every single time I look at it, I get excited because I think about your progress. Like, so to me, this is an empowerment bracelet of progress. It shows me that one of my clients is doing it. They're doing what they need to do, and they're getting it done, and they're feeling better, and it is very encouraging for me.
It's always good to hear when you have a client that graduates and then they call back later and they're like, "Look what I'm doing."
I'm never ever going to let her graduate. Like, I didn't want to let Dee graduate either, but I kind of had to because she was doing so good. So I might have to text Bree periodically and be like, "Hey, I think you should have a setback this week. I'm not ready for you to leave yet." I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. But the cool thing is, whenever they stop being my clients, then we become friends. It's easier to be a friend to somebody, than be a life coach, because I kind of get the look sometimes, that says you're going to go to hell in a handbasket, right? And I get that look sometimes from you. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about was that very thing, other people, and how they affect us. So I have a few people I want to talk about. Can you think of anybody that you would want to talk about? And mind you, we don't have to name names, right? But can you think of anybody that you want to talk about that's affecting you? And that can be for the good or the bad. But people affect us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not talking about gossip because I'm not a big gossiper. I'm talking about the facts of the matter and why we feel the way we feel because of the facts of the matter. For instance, your wonderful daughter, Alexandria, who has declined to be on the podcast tonight, but probably knows I'm going to talk about her. So she took exception, you could say, to Lucas from the moment he was born. Like, I don't want to say hate. I cannot say she doesn't hate him.
It's just been a strong rivalry between those two siblings for a while. It's
Yeah.
gotten a lot better. It's gotten way better. At one point, it almost seemed feud-like.
There, that's a good, yeah,
But it's gotten really a lot better with them.
Yeah, okay. So she has a certain feeling just when she's around Lucas in general. He gets under her skin like really quick, right? So we're talking on an energetic level. So that means whatever he's putting out, she is not stepping in. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anyone like that in your life where despite your best efforts and you ought to love them, you just don't much care for their energy, their energetic behaviors?
Right. Now?
Yes, now what are you, perfect?
No.
Oh, she just guessed on the color. Sorry, Bree. Bree said that she just guessed on the color. Yes, it's like my favorite color. That's why I'm so impressed. Okay. Anyway, sorry. So, person that affects you. You know this is how it works for us.
Yeah.
Somebody has to keep up.
Yeah. I can't really think of anybody that's like, God, I don't want to, anything like that. I mean, the people that we're around, it's like, they're fun to be around, and you want to help them out and whenever they need help and stuff. So it's people that have affected, me, as far as how I feel and stuff. Yeah, like, absolutely, but not really in a negative way.
Okay, so then let's go backwards in time just a little bit, okay? If you will, indulge me a moment. And I'm not going to use names, okay? But you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. So there was a particular person, one of your bosses. We're talking military time. So one that I also knew, because we each had experiences with them independently and together. Okay, and so this higher up drove you nuts, like legitimately crazy, but you respected the hell out of him.
Yeah.
Okay, So tell me, how did he affect you and why? What was it?
Um, he challenged everything, which is rightfully so in the field that I was working in at the time. And I don't know, I guess it drove me crazy because
He
he was a,
challenged you?
yeah, he was a really smart guy. And every time it was, we had something that we needed to do, it would be like, I'm going to get him this time. I'm going to get him this time, that bastard. And then every time he would nail me. I'm like, damn it. God. He did make me a better analyst.
Okay.
Because I just couldn't get one over on him.
So, you couldn't get one over. So why do you think he was put in your path? Why do you think the universe deemed you worthy of this person? I almost screwed up and said his name.
Because despite how frustrated I was with him, he brought the best out of me. I performed better in the military, working for him and them in general, than I did anywhere else. I was, my analysis was on the spot. I was
He made
doing
you
good
work
stuff for big people.
Yeah, he made you work.
And and he demanded, a certain level. And if he didn't meet that certain level, it was going to get crinkled up and thrown back at you.
Was he going to wipe his ass with it first?
No, he wasn't like that. But he was so matter of fact that it was like whenever he was critiquing your work, it was like Spock was critiquing your work, where it's so logical and true. You feel so stupid.
But wait a minute.
Like, oh my god.
Okay, hold up, because you said the same thing about me too. So does that mean there's been points that you've hated me the same way you hated this person?
I can't really say I hated the guy. I didn't.
Okay, well, so
because
I shouldn't say hate.
Even today, he still has a spot.
So, so have I ever gotten to you the way that he got to you? Because you've described me the same way.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know how to feel about that because I know how much he got to you. So would you really say that I've gotten to you to that degree? Be honest.
No. I mean, there was a whole lot of other stressors, with
So I haven't ever
situation.
aggravated you as bad as he has.
No.
But just the fact that I can get one over on you drives you crazy.
Yeah, because it makes me kind of step my game up because
Carol's on.
Like, I know that if you're gonna have a certain expectation out of me, and then I've already said I can meet that expectation, then yeah, I'm gonna strive to meet that expectation. Some days it's more difficult to meet that expectation than others, but we still strive.
Do you think that I have impossible expectations?
No. I probably thought they were impossible at one point.
Oh yeah, you did. You told me.
But they're not.
I believe you use the word crazy a lot with me.
Yeah, there were situations.
Okay,
but there was a lot going on in the situations, though.
But hold on, admittedly, so I get a little crazy with some things because I have OCD, which I am working through, right? And what people don't realize is I'm not looking to cure my OCD. It's just who I am. It's part of who I am. And when it affects me in a negative way, I'll work on it. But when I don't, it doesn't matter. Then it just becomes background noise to entertainment, right? So when I'm doing something weird, like compulsively flipping the light switches, maybe Alex will tap the spoon on the sink. It will end up with music. That's how you end up embracing the dumb shit you do.
Yeah.
So how did you embrace the suck when he was nailing you with everything? How were you embracing it? How did you make music with it?
Well, I smoked a lot of cigarettes at the time, and whenever
not the right
we would
answer.
go to the smoke area, there was a whole wall of paper, like boxes and boxes of paper, and that was punching bags as we were going down the hall. Just
I can see that. So that's funny that you may need a wall of paper punch.
he drove everybody crazy though, and it's not like I was the only one that was having an issue. So we had I think at the time he was a chief warrant officer too, that was also and he was in a different cell that was just across from us, and his work got checked by Chief Warrant Officer 4, and so when he got back to his desk, like he had gone to chow. We all worked at night, so it was from 7 at night until 7 in the morning. That's what it was supposed to be, but it was usually 7 at night until like 8-10 noon maybe. But he gets back from chow, sees his work, and and he's somebody that his work was a lot higher than you say my work, and then all I hear is "fuck that motherfucker." Like, and he like screamed it so loud.
Oh my God, that's pretty awesome. So in that moment, every single thing that you had endured mattered.
Yeah, I was validated. It's like even he said it.
That's so awesome. I love that. In my life, I think that for me, I have clients like that challenge me, in the same way, that it's not so much that I don't hate them and I'm not even annoyed with them. It's simply they bring to light who I used to be or who I could be.
Yeah.
In the moment that happens, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to keep tasting it or if I want to pour it out. Right? What is that line for you then? What's the line that says you can keep tasting it because it's actually pretty good? Like horchata. You don't know if you like it or not. You just keep tasting it and you realize you drank a whole glass of it.
Gosh, I think just growth in general is that drink that I hate drinking.
No, you can't use that.
Like, I hate this. I don't want to do it anymore.
No, you can't, because growth is
keep...
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable because it's growth, right? Yeah. It's supposed to be. If not, you wouldn't be growing. So come on, tell me, is there anything that you were like, oh, I don't know if I want to keep drinking this or not, and then you're finally like, yeah, this shit's pretty good? Besides me, because we all know I'm an acquired taste. Five, 4, 3, 2. Okay, so then here's a question that you might could answer then. How am I an acquired taste?
How are you an acquired taste?
Yeah. How many people do you think would vote Brando?
You are an acquired taste because you're direct and sometimes brutally honest. And even though your honesty is good, it's like kind of like getting hit with an honesty bat. And
honesty bat, is that a thing?
Yeah, you could probably,
Is that like a 6-stick?
Yeah.
An honesty bat is a 6-stick?
Yeah. Well, if you've ever been hit with it, you know.
Yeah, it makes you throw up right away.
And and it's the thing. It's like being mad at Chief. Why was I mad at Chief? I wasn't mad at him because he picked my work apart. I was mad at him because he was right.
So you think that that's why I'm an acquired taste is for the same reason, is because sometimes hearing the truth is painful. And I just happen to be the messenger.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? I mean, it might not
honestly,
be. I don't know.
I don't envy. I mean, I understand how you, and why you're so as honest and direct as you are, but it's, I don't know. The personality trait is so, like, to be able to do that is so foreign to me.
That's like me shutting up.
I can't
like,
be.
I couldn't shut up.
I can't be rough. I mean, with the truth, because I'm not a big fan of conflict, and and as soon as I feel like I'm hurting somebody's feelings, I'm like, oh.
That's what cracks me up so much. We really are yin and yang, because that one thing right there proves it. that why on earth would you marry me if you are who you just described? That you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. You absolutely can't stand confrontation.
Well, we challenge each other, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, and lack of tact. Okay, I do not have a lack of tact. I think, I think y'all just want everything to be tactful. And it's a waste of time and effort sometimes to be tactful when all you want to do is look at someone and say, stop it. If you do not want to die from a stroke and or heart attack, stop vaping. Don't vape.
As you vape.
As I vape, right? So, geez, why can't people get it? Well, that's why. See that example that I just showed, right? So that's why I get frustrated with my clients. Not, okay, I get frustrated, not annoyed, like what you were saying. So I hate it when my clients are right and I'm looking at them going, damn it, I love the fact that you have this insight. But I'm so pissed off right now that I didn't have that insight or that I'm not using that insight, right? So it's just fuel for me. So I'm not actually annoyed with them or frustrated with them. I'm looking at myself going, okay, now it's time to piss or get off the pot. So at some point, this has to come. But I'm going to wait till Carol gets moved up here and we're going to work on it together, right? I have 4 big bottles of vape juice to go through, though, because if you go up to what is it again? Express Vapors, right? Express Vapors, yeah. They have these big bottles of vape juice that are on clearance, and so I got 4 for like $20, and they're really good stuff. So I have a whole lot of this that I've got to go through. Now, see, a good life coach would say, so just throw it out. You need to stop vaping. But I'm a cheap life coach, so not necessarily a good one to myself. Kind of like a mechanic doesn't work on his own car.
Yeah, I
right?
understand that.
Is that my excuse? She hasn't vaped for 4 days. Carol hasn't vaped for 4 days. Wow. Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about right there. How does that affect me?
You made it this far.
Right.
How much further can you go?
Right. So how do you think that affects me? Because we're just talking about that. So Carol's one of my clients too. Here, she hasn't vaped for 4 days. I'm still vaping and talking about it. So how do you think that affects me? It challenges me, right? Just the same that you're challenged. It challenges me, and it's like, oh, wait, if she can do it, I know that I can. But do I want to? I should want to, right? She wants to. She wants to be healthier. So I should want to. Yeah?
Should you?
Well, I should want to. I should want to be healthier. I don't, though. So tell me why I don't want to be healthier right now.
Because you feel like that's what you deserve.
Mm-mm. It's not that I feel like that's what I deserve. It's that that's what I feel like I'm capable of right now. And that's the defining line that tells you whether or not you need to work on something or whether you don't. Right? You want the tough love or the tact. Ah, ha, 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 ha. You know what? You can have both, just not from me. I want the tough love. Always want the tough love, right? And I could be tactful about it. I just choose not to be, just like I choose not to vape, because sometimes shock value is worth more than being passive and placating. Do you agree? If your child is going out into the street, you don't want the child to say why if you say, get out of the street.
Yeah.
You want the child to get out of the street, right?
Yeah.
So you go, get out of the street. You yell, don't you? If you've already told them 100 times, but yet they're still in the street, don't you yell to get their attention? Mm-hmm. They're in the street. There's a car going to come and kill them. Get out of the street. right? So when do you yell and when do you wait to see if they're going to get out of the street? You have to actually let them try, don't you?
Yeah.
You have to let them play in the street and see what's going to happen. No, Beth, the answer is you don't let the kid play in the street and see what's going to happen.
You don't?
No.
Huh. I was
Oh
wait till
my
my parents
God.
said.
No.
So that's my mom.
You send him out in the desert with a shotgun for 6 hours while
Here's your bike. See you later.
Yeah, while you're at the casino. That's what you do. But no, seriously, what do you have to do in an event like that? You're trying to teach your kid. You can't go out in the street. You don't want to keep answering why. What do you typically give them?
I mean, if you're dealing with, like a non-actual lethal situation, you tell them enough times, and then you're gonna have to let them fall on their face.
Right. You set them up with successful tools the best way that you know how.
Yeah. And they're gonna have to fly on their own with those tools.
Right. And you hope that they don't play in the street when there's a car coming. But nonetheless, I am going to yell at them if they do it. I'm not going to think about tact. I don't yell at my clients. I have had my clients yell at me, though. So how do you think that that affects me?
No, baby Jesus, you don't let them play in the street.
Right.
I played in the street a lot.
God, it's like, why did she even say that, Carol? I don't even know. She was like totally going for it. I was like, no, that's so wrong.
I was just pulling from experience.
Oh my God, that was a test, and like you failed so hard. She can't promise that she won't vape again. I wouldn't want you to try to promise that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it is. We work on ourselves every single day, don't we? So is it wrong if I quit vaping and then in 3 months I vape again? Was it all for nothing? No. And you learned why you go back. Why do you go back to an addiction? Or why do you trade an addiction for another?
I think it's a matter of just anytime that I went back to smoking, I justified why.
Well,
so it was
that's
just
what
the
we do.
reason
We
why.
make
Like
excuses all the time, right?
when I got back from jump school and we started smoking again, it was like we both just kind of just gave up our willpower. We're like, no,
Yeah.
pack cigarettes. Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Going back to Fort Bragg. It's time to start smoking again because we're going to once we get there. We might as well enjoy it a few days in advance, right? That's but if you are trading habits, typically you want to trade a habit for a better one, right? You don't want it to be an addiction. You want to have a healthy habit established instead of an addiction. But so often you trade one addiction for another because you haven't resolved the issue that's causing the addiction to begin with. Right?
Yeah,
you understand
kind of
that.
end up in a place where you're like, who gives a shit?
Right.
And then you start smoking.
Yeah. I know why I have an addictive personality. And most people who have an addictive personality know where it comes from. It doesn't necessarily mean you've already had it established. So if you already know a better way to live, you can reestablish that way.
Yeah.
So I wasn't born vaping. I'm sure that I can quit eventually. I just don't want to. Okay, so how has somebody affected you in a positive way as you went along, but you realized that it was actually negative? Kind of like the opposite of what we just talked about. Because you couldn't stand this person, and they helped you the most because they challenged you. So who's made you the most comfortable and hurt you in the process?
I'm not sure.
If working for Chief tested you and challenged you, frustrated you, but ultimately made you a better person, who has made you comfortable most of your life, but ultimately that's what hurt you?
My mom.
Yeah.
My mom did that.
So it was the opposite of like Chief, right? You couldn't stand him. He frustrated the crap out of you, but ultimately he challenged you enough to make you a better person. Right?
Yeah, I was definitely a sharper analyst, working for him than I ever was with anybody else.
Okay, so on the opposite of that, your mom coddled you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was comfortable while you were growing up, the coddling, having your mom there and all that
Yeah,
stuff,
she
right?
just kind of like protected me from the world, and I didn't really experience anything until I got away from her. Then the world was a confusing place.
And so how did you work that out?
I didn't. I didn't.
You joined the military, a place that made sense, right?
Yeah.
And then, how did you finally realize that what she had done to you was creating a cycle within you?
Um, when you know, when I was all helicopter parent, I could see some of those traits, and
I
that
don't
kind of
think our
worried me a little bit.
listeners know that you were a helicopter
Yeah,
parent.
I was a helicopter parent pretty bad, and that was, a lot of that was because of my anxiety, because at that point, deployment was still fresh in my mind, and and I already missed so much.
So you were guilt parenting.
Yeah.
You try to be over involved all the time, but you don't do that now, and
No.
that's good. You're still a little close to the kids, a little more than sometimes I think they would like. I think they're sort of struggling to get away from you sometimes. But that's all kids. All kids are fighting for independence. They're all testing their boundaries and trying to figure out who they are. But you and I started doing that in our adulthood, not in our childhood. We did not really buck the system too much.
No.
And so now I feel like I deserve to. I deserve to because I didn't have a chance to. And the only reason why I didn't have a chance to is because I didn't know that I could. I didn't know. I mean, do you understand? Maybe on your level, I felt so stupid when I realized that all I had to do was decide what I wanted to do. Did you ever just realize that all you have to do is decide?
Yeah.
Like
It took
that's
it,
it.
it took me a long time to realize that. About 40 years.
I mean, yeah, and that's with anything. Like with absolutely anything. If
Yeah.
you want to get your driver's license, all you have to do is decide that you want to drive.
Every little aspect of your life is a choice.
Yeah, because once you decide you want to drive, then you start looking at how to do it.
Choice.
Right.
Choice.
Right. I mean, but I felt so stupid though, Beth. I felt so stupid when I realized that all I had to do my entire life was just be me my entire life. Like, I did not have to make my decisions based on everybody else's behavior. You didn't know that either. You had no idea that you could make a decision based on what you thought, not how someone else felt.
Right. That's living for somebody else.
Yeah. It's like, what? So, after you stopped living for your drill sergeants, your family, and me, who do you still live for that you know you need to start letting go of? Because it's to your detriment. Like your mom.
I'm not really sure who I really live for anymore. I mean, not like I used to.
Well, maybe not like you used to, but there are still people that you live for.
Well, I mean, I kind of live for the family because, I work daily,
Your
to grow.
decisions, right, your decisions are based upon the family's needs and wants, right?
Mm-hmm. And,
So,
they need a better me, then I'm going to work to make a better me.
right, so it's not always a bad thing, right? You just have to make sure it's not to your detriment.
Yeah.
So that's that gauge that says, okay, I'm doing enough to feel good, right? But I'm not doing too much for others. Because you always need to be aware of how you're affecting other people, just like how you're aware of how they affect you. Right? What one way have you realized that you've affected people that you didn't know until recently?
Affected people I didn't know, or
Yeah.
affected people in a way I didn't know.
There you go.
Um, hmm. I think that that one of the with the most recent things I've been getting over, it's just been um, like how I can go into a situation in a certain mood and dictate how things are going to go based on my mood.
Yeah, we all do that. Every person in the world manipulates other people and the environment based on their reactions
Yeah,
and
and
their
it's like I don't.
actions,
It's
right?
not something that we do on purpose. It's
No,
just
but
something that we do.
that's part of being human. That's humanity. And the problem is when you don't realize that you're part of humanity. And that looks like you saying, I hate people.
Oh
The
yeah,
people that say I hate people think that they're not people.
yeah.
See, they think that they're separate
Those are the
from
moments
people.
that I'm as disgusted with humanity, which includes
Yeah,
myself. I
that's
don't
and that's
exempt
what you've got to
myself whenever I say
realize.
like, "Oh, people make me sick." I'm talking about me too,
Yeah, but you're not saying it like you are.
because human nature can go to very dark
Yeah, so
places.
all you have to do is next time you want to trash talk society or humans, look in the mirror and just say it to yourself and see if you still want to say it. You would not look in the mirror and go, I hate you.
Yeah,
And if you're looking in the mirror and saying, I hate you, you need to talk to someone because that is not something that you should be feeling, right?
correct.
So, in the event that that is the situation, come see me. Seriously, because we need to work on that because there should not be that.
I had
But,
I was when I was leaving the store today, and I was thinking about gosh, what was that show that we were watching? The one that you watched that you picked last night.
oh God, don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
And I started thinking about it, and I was like, in the event of some sort of
Oh, yeah.
it, the
Almost the one with Tom Hanks.
yeah, the robot,
Finch.
yeah, in
Holy crap.
in the event that there's some sort of cataclysm where everything falls and stuff like that, the first thing that a human needs to worry about is another human,
Right.
and that kind of just animals don't worry too much about their own species. They kind of group together. And humans will do that. They group together, and then one group thinks they're better than another group and thinks they need to get that other group to believe what they believe, and it just goes on and it gets bigger and bigger, and before you know, you have society.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with society. We
No,
need people, right?
it's very regulated and controlled and everything.
And that's why I am the way I am. I am the opposite of regulated and controlled, which is crazy considering I have OCD. So that's the anomaly that's here, right? That's Guru Brando. Guru Brando is an OCD nightmare, that struggles because he's too liberal. OCD, narrow minded, fixed with a growth mindset. How does that make sense? That's because I've had extra things in addition in my life happen, right? And so when you have kind of abuse and things like that happen, trauma, then you end up with an anomaly like me. So if you are struggling or someone else is struggling in maybe the same ways or something, give us a call and chat with us because we all deserve help, right? We all deserve each other. And that's what some people forget is they forget that they can literally get help anywhere. You just have to be receptive to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to communicate it and be receptive. And that's the big thing. So speaking of receptive, are you ready?
Am I about to have to be receptive?
Yes. So we have a new member of the Sacred Groves team, I think. And her name is Cindy, and we're going to be working more with her. And
Yes.
Cindy was brought to us, hopefully, through all the meditation that I've been going through. I've been struggling for weeks trying to figure out which direction to take the retail part of the business to where it makes the most sense and we don't have to keep shutting down because of COVID and we can effectively get things to our clients that they need, right?
Right.
Our members, and so in my meditations, I met. Just she decided to pop in one day, Cindy, and I know that she'll be an asset, and I just don't know how yet. We're kind of leaving it up to the universe, and I know it sounds crazy when I say that, but we know right now we're helping each other, and
Yeah.
that's all that matters. And when you connect with someone, there's a lot of synchronicities. Her dad's name is also Fred, by the way. We didn't know that, but there's a lot of things that sync up for us, and she was kind of just directed here one day,
Yeah. That was
and
just kind of
just
odd. She just
happenstance,
showed
yeah.
up.
So like Mary Poppins, right? So we're working on a few things, and then Carol is moving here, so we're about to get really busy really quick. Are you ready for it?
Yeah. Next step is Thanksgiving.
So we're going to have a holiday on top of all of this going on too. So it's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. It'll be a lot of fun.
Are we going to
A lot of chaos.
sink or swim? I'll hide. I'll just come back here and put my shawl on and hide. I'm such an old woman. When it gets cold, I become an old woman. I hold my coffee mug with two hands. I wear my hat, and I would wear gloves if they didn't freak me out so much. But I have experience with the whole glove thing, so I'm messed up about it. I For a long time, I had to wear cotton gloves because I lost skin on my hands from my OCD rituals, and so I have these cotton gloves, and they to me are like chief is to you, those cotton gloves. I hate to love them and love to hate them.
Mm.
It's that same thing. They were there whenever I needed them, but they are such a crutch at this point that now I hate them, because I don't like touching certain stuff. I'm working on it. Right? I have really great clients, and I'm pretty excited about that. For the first time in a long time, I can say that my life feels like it's lining up.
Yeah.
And that feels pretty good to me, especially going into the holidays, because holidays are a hard time, aren't they?
They can be.
Do you struggle during the holidays?
If I allow it.
Okay, so we're talking honestly. So do you struggle during the holidays? Do you allow it? That's if anyone allows it.
Not so bad, honestly. I think most of the time, I mean, especially around as soon as I start turning on Christmas music and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it's everybody in the house pretty much hates me. So
Yeah, we hate you as soon as
so
Halloween's over.
I want to get my
like
9 foot tall tree and
the moment
decorate
Halloween's
it.
over. I mean, you don't even wait for the jack-o'-lanterns to be mush yet. They're still out there. And damn Christmas music. I just don't understand it.
I haven't listened to any Christmas music yet, though. I'm sticking.
Really,
sticking to
you
it.
have, because
No.
our kids have been playing it.
Who played Home Alone yesterday?
I'm talking about the stinking instruments. You requested Silent Night.
That's because that's what Lucas is doing for his recital.
Okay, well, so you can't say you haven't listened to it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you bored me. Beth, you bored me.
It happens a lot.
You didn't bore me. Okay, so I want to do a question. I want each of us to ask each other a question, and a meaningful question, but a question nonetheless. Aw, she said Carol said she's excited to celebrate holidays. So, I want to ask you a question, and I want you to ask me a totally unique question from it.
Good Lord. No pressure.
Do you want to go first then, so you don't have the pressure? Do you want to ask me any question in the world? You just have to ask me a question. And it can be a question meant for anyone. It doesn't have to just be a question for me. It doesn't have to be personal.
Gosh.
All the questions in the world.
You go first. I don't know.
How did you become so beautiful? You let me go first.
That's not a question I
It
can answer
is.
because
Yes, it
beauty's
is.
in the eye of the beholder.
It is a question you can answer.
Subjective.
Exactly, and I asked you, how did you become so beautiful?
I, I,
So
I
you
guess
have to answer
because,
that.
well, because, daily I'm working, to create a stronger, home for us all. And I think that maybe, has an effect in how I'm perceived by you.
We're not talking about my perception.
Yeah,
We're
we are.
talking. No, I didn't say I perceive you as beautiful. I asked you, how did you become beautiful? How did you become more beautiful every single day that you live your life? How are you becoming more and more beautiful? And that's not. It's not my perception.
Okay,
It's
I
a
understand
fact.
now. No, the general, sort of a general question.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Kind of like, what are you doing to make your life better?
What have you impressed upon people today?
Right.
That's usually what I ask, but see, I can't ask that question, right? So, what or how, what have you done or how have you become this beautiful? How do you do it? Every single day. First of all, you have to, define what beauty is for you, right?
Yeah.
So every
Well,
morning, what do
when
you
it comes to
decide?
when you're asking the question, since you're asking the question, what is the definition to you? So then I
It's
can
in the
understand
eye
it
of
in
the
your language.
beholder, and you're beholding right now, so it's in your eye. That's the point.
Using my words against me.
No, it is what it is, baby.
Playing the angles.
Hey, I want to know from your perspective what makes you beautiful and how do you get there every day and how do you become more of it?
Um,
I've watched you develop from somebody who hated themselves and hated other people because you were that person that on a constant said, I hate people. I hate people. I want to avoid people, which told me you hated yourself and you wanted to avoid yourself.
yeah,
And now look at you.
I think that a lot of it came from cannabis therapy because
Yes, I
it
cannabis.
separated me from my anger long enough to evaluate it so that I could actually start seeing the rest of the world. I was just seeing the angry everything, just through the angry lens. And when I started medicating, the angry lens, went away for a little while and I could see the world through a different lens, and it made more sense to me.
You
And then
know,
I stopped using the angry lens all the time.
you told me early on um, that the main reason you resented me the most is because I loved you so much. You resented me and you were angry with me because I wasn't angry with you. You wanted me so much to be mad at you and hate you the way that you hated yourself. You wanted me to feel angry with you for deploying. You wanted me to be angry with you for missing things. You didn't want me to honor you and celebrate your sacrifice. And it made you angry. So talk on that. Why would you be so angry with me about that?
I don't know. Um, there's just a lot of shit, with the military, and even in, and it's, I just assume go days without thinking about it. No, there's, a day dedicated to it, which, it's great for everybody, but I just like to go through my days quietly,
Yeah, so we
and
don't really
focus on,
celebrate Veterans
you
Day.
and I honor, the fallen. Um,
But it's not okay for you. But it's okay for everybody else, but not for you. Do you
but
see
I
what
don't,
I'm saying here?
I mean, the military, my old military life is falling further and further away, and it's just not really part of me. And so I don't want to think about it because whenever I think about it, I get stuck thinking about it.
But you know that avoidance is also your problem, right? So you're not supposed to say, oh, I don't want to think about it. You're supposed to think about it in a more positive light. So you don't say, you know what, my military days really screwed me up.
No,
And
it's
I
not like
resent it.
that.
You say, you know what, my military days, there was a lot of great people that I loved and lost. I
It's
got to be part of it, right?
it's not like that. It's not like, oh, I hate my military life so
No,
much.
you said
It's just
you.
that, even if I, I'm like, there's a lot of good times that I had in the military, a lot of awesome, fun times that I had in the military. And, but, when I start to dwell on those fun times, it
Yeah,
inevitably leads to, a
of
time that wasn't
course.
so fun. And then that's
Yeah.
where I get stuck.
Oh, yeah, and it's the same way with me, too. That's why I don't want to talk about certain situations, right? Because whenever I do, it takes me right back there and keeps me there. And that's what I always say, but I learned something about that. That with cannabis therapy, the whole point is you actually talk about it. You don't avoid it. Like what you say, what you just said is you don't want to talk about it, you want to avoid it. But when you're medicated, you talk about it. You don't avoid it. You actually are able to do what it is that I just said. You're able to look at it in a different light. Because just like earlier, you were talking about the chief that you worked for.
Mm-hmm.
That aggravating situation
Yeah.
is what created an awesome analyst, right? That aggravating military time is also what created a thriver.
Yeah, it was just,
And so that's what makes you more beautiful every single day. It makes you more beautiful every single day experience. So truly, that's what you say in your life. You say, I am beautiful because of experience. I am more beautiful every day because I experience more,
I am
right?
forged.
Yeah, but it's the truth. It's the truth. And we just have to keep pushing ourselves and looking at ourselves and go, did we do better than the day before? And if we didn't, that means we're stuck.
Yeah.
And it means you need to look up and pull your ass up, right? It means you're spending too much time looking down. Excuse me, you can't look down on yourself. You have to look up at where you're going. I think you've done that. And I think that that's why you're more beautiful every day. And it's not to me, it's to yourself. See, and the more beautiful you are, the more you project that and the more other people see it.
Yeah, I've been a lot happier with myself. You know, definitely, within this year, than I have in previous years.
It's my attitude that makes me sexy, right? Not my belly. It's my attitude.
Oh yes, that must be it. It's your attitude, not your belly. It's absolutely your belly.
So
Please.
look, so look. So if you think of your attitude, your temperament, your personality, all as your energy, your energetic life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you think of that and I ask you what have you impressed upon people today and you think about the energy that you have projected, if the answer for you is not beauty every single day, you would be lying. Wouldn't you? If I asked you what did you impress upon people today and you did not right out of the gate say beauty, would you be lying?
I don't know because
Yes, you would be lying because every single day you see yourself as a beautiful creature,
right.
right? So if every day you see yourself as a beautiful creature, then if somebody ever asks you, me, ever asks you, what did you impress upon people today? If you have nothing else in your arsenal, you
Oh,
can always say beauty. I
well,
impressed beauty upon people today.
I I think daily, one of the kids will ask me a question about me, and we'll have a little chat, about this is who I was once upon a time, and these are the lessons that I learned
Don't
from
vape.
that. And so, I usually impress some of my own wisdom, I guess.
Right. So you impress wisdom on people, but you impress more than wisdom.
And that's just on the children. They don't know any better.
Magic, everything's magic, right? But with cannabis therapy, you can now impress beauty upon people every single day. And you know why? Because it's absolutely beautiful when people take care of themselves. And when you can find a healthier alternative to synthetic medicine, that's always beautiful. right? Because you could be strung out right now like a zombie, like I used to be, and you're not.
This is true.
Okay, so part of being beautiful is accepting and acknowledging, where you are in the world, right? So you can accept and acknowledge that you're in a good place, in a beautiful place, right? And you're contributing.
Yes.
And that's not who you used to be. And so you can always say you are better than you were the day before.
Yeah.
And you just keep going and going and going like a fine
It's like
wine.
I made it this far.
How old did you think you're going to be when you bid it?
When?
Anytime. What's the oldest you thought you'd be?
Well, back
Carol
when I was,
says that's not an uncommon feeling in vets, what you talked about.
Oh.
And I agree. It's really common.
What was the question?
I don't even know. This is what happens when you smoke weed. I'm pretty sure that that's what we were talking about.
Did it have something to do with weed?
Come on, Carol. You're the only one that's, really paying attention to us two. Because clearly we're not paying attention to us two. I'm sure it was relative, but it probably wasn't.
Yeah. If it's important, it'll come back.
Let's just do a song and dance now. For real though, tonight's date night. And we choose to spend date night with our listeners, right? So we need to give them a little something. How old? How old what?
Oh. How old did I when I thought I was going to die or something?
Oh, yeah.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, good job, Carol.
Oh. When I was young, I figured that...
Bit it.
I figured that I would probably make it to about...
That's the bullet, bit the bullet.
Somewhere between my 40s and 60s. I figured that would be...
Oh, my God, you had like a big old wide span there. Wow, I didn't even think that.
Because it kind of evolved as like... I kind of expected it to be just somewhere in my 40s. And then it seemed to be, as I grew up, a little bit more, I was like, well, I might make it a little bit longer. And now, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'll probably buy it in the 70s somewhere.
I plan on being so old that I forget how old I am. I plan on being well into my hundreds now. But I have to say, and this is a little bit of a confession, so y'all get a Guru Brando confession. Are you ready for this? One of my OCD things is the number 4. I have a very strong aversion to the number 4. Number 3 is a safe number, but number 4 is horrible. And so at the cost sometimes of even time and gas, I have to avoid the number 4 if it's a street or if it's an exit or something like that. It's this thing, right? Well, what I later on have learned, I didn't always know this, but I expected to bite it at 22. I figured I would die a year after I became legal.
Why 22? Because you would just go off the hook?
I have no idea why. I thought that it was going to be 22, but 22 then totals to 4, so it was 2 and 2 was 4. So in my mind, it got stuck, that this 4 was big. So I know that concept that I would bite it by age 22 happened, the belief formed before I was 5. So somewhere before I was 5 years old, a belief that I was going to die at 22 got stuck in my head. So that's interesting, huh? When you think of that. So here I'm looking at it and I'm going, I have no idea why. But if I ever wanted to explore that, I could do a life regression thing. That's interesting,
Do we know anybody who does that?
Yeah, actually I do. And I have the option, by the way, to expand my certification and do past life regression. I don't know that I want to, though. That's one of those things that you have to decide, is it too triggery for you? Think about it. It would be like if you were to become a recruiter for anyone. Would it feel too much like military recruiting for you? Would it trigger you? You got to look at things like that, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it would depend on really what it was. I mean, if it was like recruiting also meant talent scout or something like that, then it's a little different.
But you would still have to recruit. The process is the same. Get those numbers. At all costs, you get those numbers.
Yeah.
So it would feel very deceitful, I think. Carol said she just knew she would never live past 21. And here you are. You're past 21. You're actually our age. I won't repeat our age because then it would, yeah. I said
29.
around. Yeah, you're around our age. Look, I'll admit how old I am. However, someone said I looked 30. So I was excited by that 30 thing. I am noticing that I'm looking more and more wrinkled, but whatever, I don't care. Indiana Jones. That's all I got to say. Indiana Jones, old as hell, still knocking it out of the park.
Okay.
I can look old and still knock it out of the park. As long as I got you, babe, right?
Absolutely.
My client, Bree, had no idea who Sonny and Cher was.
Yeah, there's...
Do you hear that? I'm talking trash on you right now.
I'm starting to see more and more people, especially in school, that don't understand the references I make to maybe something 70s, 80s pop culture. It falls on deaf ears. Only the professor understands my humor.
Okay, so are you ready for my last confession? Because I had that confession, right? That whole confession about my OCD type weirdness. So I have another confession, and it's about Jennifer Arnold. So Jennifer Arnold is one of my Facebook friends. So I'm sure Jennifer is going to love me because she might get, messages. So we went to school with Jennifer, and you admitted you don't really, remember. Well, that's because you aren't weird like me. I had an amazing crush on Jennifer. Now, I say crush because I wasn't really in love with her, right? And I didn't really know a whole lot about her, but I was infatuated because the very first thing that I saw about her was her hair was so symmetrical. Like, it amazed me. It was so symmetrical. And because I had OCD, it's like I locked in and she became then the perfect 10. Because that was it. Like, her hair was perfect. And then one day she did it, and it totally drew my eye. She cocked her head. And from that moment on, I just paid attention to her head cocking. And so each time she cocked her head, it would draw my attention. So then I realized I was just staring at her like 90% of the time. and I hope to God, like, I really hope right now she's not watching this going, oh my God, that's right. That freak stared at me. I don't think she will, but I used to stare a lot because I just thought she was amazing. Like, when you meet that energy, and you know how you hear some, like on the movies, they say, I'm going to marry that person. Mm-hmm. The moment I saw her, I was like, I am going to forever be interested in this person. Like, in my mind, she was just interesting at that age. I don't really know outside what it was because I don't know a lot about her. I'd be really interested, Jennifer, if you have time, just to text me or something and tell me what was going on in your life. I'm interested to know, because I had declared at that moment I was always going to be interested in you. And you know what? You're my Facebook friend right now. So what makes you be on my Facebook, outside? What do you remember? And what's interesting about me? Because I really don't know a whole lot outside of, the Facebook stalking that I've done. And it's not like I'm trying to hook up or anything. I promise. I'm not creepy like that. It's just...
Not creepy.
I said like that. I'm totally creepy, but not like that. I'm not trying to.
Go ahead, keep going.
Hi. Oh, I didn't know what you were doing. Um, Good shot though. Got your boobs and your butt.
No, I've been facing this way. Have you turned right now?
Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. Anyways,
Not being creepy.
not be creepy. It's just you were standing behind me. That's all I was seeing. Um, so seriously, I just want to know, kind of what was going on because I think that everybody in my life at this point is in my life for a reason because either I value them or they value me. And that's what's interesting in it is where do you hold value that I recognized because you're only attracted to that. This is awkward. Well, it's not anymore, but thanks for making it awkward again, Carol. Okay, that's even worse. That was totally creepy. But but anywho's, do you have anyone like that is some random that you want to call to action, Beth? Some rando that maybe you knew from school or something.
Some rando.
Yeah. I mean,
um,
you sort of remember them, but you don't.
yeah.
And you want to know why are they still important or relative?
I think
They
that
must be.
there were people that were really important and more relative to me long after high school because I felt like I had wronged them in some way.
Ooh,
And so
that's
I
a
went on
good
an
one.
apology tour, basically. People that I could get in touch with that I was like, hey, look, I remember I did this thing that was kind of messed up. It still stuck with me. So, hey, I'm sorry. And, it's worked out as far as, I've been able to let that crap go.
Okay, but you don't have anybody on there that you're actually interested in knowing.
Um,
Because that's like me. Like, I'm actually interested in
there's,
knowing more about Jennifer.
there's a lot of people that I guess that I would be interested in knowing, but I don't know, I don't really go to people out of the blue and be like, hey, how's it going?
Why don't you? That's what I'm
Um,
asking. What stops you from doing it?
well, I don't know. I'm not very social, I guess, and I just put other things, as a
Is it
priority.
because you don't have a head?
What?
Is it because you don't have a head?
Oh,
Are you not social because you don't have a head?
yes.
I had to give something for Carol to lort about. If she's gonna say it, it's got to be better. Um, but for real, anybody, think about your list. Who's on your list that you want to know more about? Carol, tell us more about you.
Yeah.
I want to hear something about you. Oh, is it because this is our most snapped episode? You've watched too much Snapped. That's where the chicks kill people
Oh,
on the ID channel. Snapped.
okay.
Yeah. One of y'all's going to end up killing me. I know it. I just know it. No one. There's no one on your friends list that you want to know more about. I want to know more about every single person on my friends list, but in particular, the reason why Jennifer came up in my mind is because I had been sort of thinking about her for a couple of days, and then she commented on my profile picture, and she doesn't usually comment,
Yeah.
and so it
It's
was
usually
like,
something that,
wow,
like,
something's going on
yeah,
that's striking her, so
something that,
something's getting her attention.
yeah, something that sparks up. Oh, hey, I remember you. How you doing?
Right.
And I just I mean, when I was on more, there was definitely a lot of people that I wanted to talk to and reach out to,
But you
but
didn't.
no, it's not. I mean, I don't. I misspeak when I say
Why?
I'm not interested because I am. I don't feel like I can give them the time they deserve because I'd be like, hey, how you doing? I remember
Oh,
such
so
such,
it's the
and
low.
then we'll
So I
get
can't
maybe
look
we
at you
might
that
strike
way.
up a friendship, and then or something like that, and then you might fall off my radar because I get
It's
caught up
so
in some
weird.
other stuff.
I'm talking to your hands now, like that's where your face would be. So whenever I'm looking at your face, I'm seeing your hands do this. I'll look at your cross. I'll stare at your cross. Your cross is now your face. Okay, so um, whenever you have these moments where you feel like you want to know more about someone and you don't address it then, do you then just give up and say, oh, well, I should have asked him back then? Now it's just going to be weird.
Sometimes there was there like there has been friends on Facebook that have been like somebody that I knew in high school, and maybe we became friends on Facebook through the big giant reunion we did that one time.
Mm-hmm.
And but I don't rightly know. You know, at one point we became Facebook friends, but there was a song that came on that came on the radio that day, and I was in the kitchen working, and it made me think of her, which is odd because it's just somebody that I knew, but
Right.
it wasn't somebody that was actively in my thoughts, but all of a sudden they were. So I reached out to him.
That's the way it works.
Hey, this song came on. It made me think of you for some reason. I hope you're doing okay. And sorry, this seems weird. And she was like, oh, hey, and everything's going great. It's this kind of like, this kind of thing going on in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I guess at that moment, things were going pretty good. But that was all we talked, and then after that, then it was like.
But do you
back to
feel
life.
like in that moment that may have affected them?
It might have. I don't know what, if they were thinking of anything at the time, or why they even
Well,
popped in my
did
head
something
in the first
they
place.
say affect you?
No.
Nothing. Wow.
No, I was just working in the kitchen, listening to the radio, and then boom, there they were.
And so nothing they said
like,
had any effect on you?
What do you mean? No, I'm talking about up to the point in which I thought of them. I was like...
And what I'm saying is, so after the fact...
Had they ever left it in a...
No. After the fact, when you messaged and you said,
Oh,
hey, this is the situation, I said, did anything they said to you affect you? And you said, no.
Oh.
No, nothing. So they were nothing. I said what I had to say and then piss off.
No,
it's like, really? Wow.
I thought you were saying that, prior to, was there anything that they had ever said to me that, made me think of them or anything like that? And
I don't talk about the past.
And the last time that I ever interacted with them was probably in high school. So
did anything they said to you after you messaged them have any bearing or impact on you whatsoever? Were you affected by anything they said or did after you contacted them?
Yeah.
Was that so hard? Was that so hard to answer?
I just explained why I answered it the other way a second ago.
I just wanted yes or no.
Okay, and now that I understand, yes.
Snapped. That's what happens. See? That's what happens when you don't speak the same language, right? The yes-no language, the binary language. We don't usually use binary language. Tonight, just yes or no binary language, and it was difficult for you. That's a good sign.
Yeah,
because it used to just be yes or no, and now that I just wanted yes or no, now you have a non-binary answer.
It's just not that simple, man. There's like lots of ins and outs, and
it really ties the room together, though. As soon as you get there, right? Okay, so I think that I've addressed everything that I wanted to address. Now I want to smoke a big fat bowl and drink some Dr. Pepper and talk to my friends on chat. So, how about that?
That sounds like a plan.
And do you realize that this is adulting?
Is it?
It is, but let me tell you something.
Well, I mean, we are adults.
Hold on.
And living.
Hold on.
Adulting.
Let me explain something, though. For anybody watching this who has the idea that, that you can just smoke weed and just live your life and be happy and free and wonderful, it takes a lot of work to actually get through the reason why you have to smoke weed. Yeah. So if you're smoking weed because it's a recreational thing and you're just having fun and doing that, that's one thing. And, everybody deserves to do that, if they deserve to do that, right? If you can afford it and you have the time and you have the desire, then do it, right? It's not going to harm you. Yeah. However, I depend on it for medicine, and so do you, right?
I do.
And so for us, when we say that, this is adulting, it's the best adulting that we've ever done in our lives, because up to this point, we couldn't adult.
Yeah, I was stuck in
we
my world,
were
and you
sucky.
were stuck in your world, and
we were sucky adults and sucky parents. And I don't know. I mean, it'll be great to get all the kids on here again to talk about it. But most of my clients, they know, our story. And I admit to all of my young clients, I was the crappiest dad ever. And Carol knew us back then when we were crappy parents. I don't think that we're model parents. I think that we're damn good parents. And I think that we have really great kids, and they're well adjusted. And they're well adjusted because they have choices. They don't feel like when they get grown, if they have struggles or issues, they don't feel like they're going to have to run to the doctor and get put on medication to be human. They understand that being human means they're going to have pain, and they're going to be uncomfortable, and they're going to struggle. And there's days that they're not going to want to. And when they don't want to, they don't have to go to their doctor and get a magic pill. They're in control of themselves, and they would be able to solve the problem very easily in saying, do I need something to eat? Do I need something to drink? Do I need, sunlight? Do I need exercise? Or do I need something like cannabis or shrooms or hot tea or St. John's wort or garlic? All of those are all medicine, including dark chocolate is also medicine, right?
All I care about is that my nightmares are almost gone.
Yeah, for me it might take a little bit longer, but that's okay, because you know what? Each day we try a little bit harder, right?
Yeah.
And we check to see where we are. And I have faith that one day I won't need to medicate. Like, I'll do it because I deserve it, because I can,
Yeah.
because I have the time and the money, right? That means I deserve it. If I have the time and money to spend on cannabis recreationally, then I deserve to have it. But if I don't, then I don't. So right now it's medicine, and that's how I enjoy it. And so I'm going to enjoy the end of the night tonight, because I deserve it, to be able to enjoy it as medicine and recreational, because it is date night. I'm done with my work week for one day. I get one day off, so tomorrow I'm done with my work week, and I get to say, you know what?
Chicken butt.
Chicken thigh. That's why. So everybody, thank you for hanging out with us. We're going to explore unlimited possibilities in our own positive attitudes. That was
Profound.
almost Gary Busey. Almost. Look it up, guys. Look up Gary Busey. He got a little bit weird. Anyway, thank you, guys. We'll talk next week, but I have a sneaky suspicion that we're going to be live again before next date night. What do you think? I have a sneaky suspicion.
Okay.
Just go with it.
All right, I'll go with it then.
Say I do too.
I do too.
Okay, good. Then we're in agreement, right? All right. We'll talk soon. Thank you. Bye.